Okay, welcome all to the Wednesday, January 8th meeting of the Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners. Can we begin with a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and just as a note, as is the season, fighting a cold. If I get up and leave, one of the other commissioners will take over his chair, and I'll be back as soon as the coughing fit stops. Hoping that's not going to be necessary, but that silence. In any case, I'm hoping that's not going to be necessary. First order of business is a public hearing for a special permit for 24 Oxford Ave. I guess we'll open the public hearing at 6:17. Is anyone here for? Yes. Okay. Come up to the microphone and identify yourself, please.
Good evening. My name is Leonard Jalbert. I'm from Jalbert Engineering in Sturbridge. I'm here tonight representing JD&D Construction, which are before you for construction of a industrial commercial building, which will be basically 120 feet by 55 feet wide, which was 6,600 square feet. The building itself will be serviced by town water and town sewer, and the building itself is going to be sprinkled for fire protection, mainly because of its size. It's a small site, which was actually relative to zoning, which is actually non-conforming. Went before the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the Zoning Board of Appeals on July 11th approved the subdivision where the building is now presently proposed to be built, which is actually 15 feet from the street and actually 10 foot from the property line. That was approved by them on the 11th of July. The site itself actually will be a single-story structure. I don't know, do you have the plans, or?
Yes, we do.
I don't know if you, I was under the impression that you needed 6 more sets of plans.
It would have been if everybody had showed up. Yeah. So that everybody could have a set.
Okay, do you want me to pass them out, or?
Sure.
If there are others, maybe we spread one here and give George one and then spread one over there. Okay.
Come on.
What it is, if you turn the page to sheet 2 of 6, what that is that shows you the layout of the layout of the building, which will be located on Oxford Ave.
This is showing the layout. Yeah, I know where it is. Because they had to find that connection. The building that was there originally burned down 50 years ago.
That was a match company, right?
No, Diamond Match.
Owned by Diamond Match.
What it actually was years and years ago was an industrial building. It actually encompassed the whole site. The building went from the railroad tracks all the way over
Is this where that hydrant was that we had to kind of worry about?
If you look at where his proposal was, the hydrant was.
They couldn't find the end of the water line.
Yeah.
We found the stub right on the corner there at the Oxford Ave, School Court area.
Okay.
We have it marked out. We'd have to look and investigate it a little bit more, but we believe it's usable to tie into for a 6-inch sprinkler line to go in and put a domestic off of that. That would be our safe bet. The line that goes up School Court is only a 1-inch line.
What
It feeds
it
those
was
houses.
originally when that industrial building was there, there was a fire hydrant that was located at the intersection of School Court and Oxford Avenue, which was right there. That's been removed. And then that's where there was a hydrant at one time.
There was a yard hydrant up in the back of the property as well that had to be removed, and we were kind of concerned about how to shut that off.
Right.
You know, it had been there for so long.
You're right.
But the stub was found and everything was good.
So what we're doing, since we just have this one in front of us, what we're going to do here is we're going to go with electrical services coming off of that telephone pole at the intersection of School Court and Oxford Ave to service that building. And we're going to have lighting on the front of the building only. The yard itself will not be lit, other than just the lighting in the front of the building. The service on it will actually be 2 taps. One will be for the fire suppression system, and the other tap will be for the domestic service.
Where do you plan on putting that the tap for the domestic service?
Please?
Where do you plan on putting the tap for the domestic service?
Right adjacent to where that telephone pole is at the intersection of School Street and Oxford Ave. If you look at,
So you're gonna dig across Oxford Ave and tap into the main across the street?
we have to, yes.
Well, not necessarily have to. I mean, I can allow you to go off the 6-inch line for sprinkler and throw a domestic off of that, which would make it more palatable for us and more palatable for you.
If you want that, that saves
They
him
do
a
that
lot.
commonly in-
Save him a lot of money, and he'll say
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of disturbing stuff into that area of Oxford Ave. There's re-rod cementing, I'd rather not have anything go into that cast iron down there, it's very brittle. We're looking down the line, possibly in the future even to replace that line through a
Okay,
grant.
is there a line coming off of School Street?
There's only a 1-inch that goes up there, and I've already replaced 5 sections of that. It's an
Okay.
old iron line, it's no good for anything to tap into, and it goes into plastic.
Then we'll go in with a single 6-inch line off of the main.
Something on the top and on.
We just have to investigate a little more. We
Before the-
exposed it a couple of years back, but I'd like to see what direction it kind of ends up angling to. We can't find it on the main side, we don't know where it's tapped into the main. It's been noted that way for many, many years.
Okay.
Like I said, the area's got a lot of volatility in it as far as lines, old gas lines. We've already come across 2 in there. It's an absolute nightmare in that area. But I can't do anything off the School Court, and that, if that stub turns out to be what it is, and it's usable, we'll use it. If it's something's wrong, then you'll end up having to go to the tap in the street. That's what I can best suggest right now,
Okay, then
as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
we'll just address it when it happens.
So for the purposes of us here at the Water and Sewer District departments, we have to be concerned because you're in our Aquifer Protection District. So things like chemical storage. One thing that kind of catches my interest is the snow storage in the back of the property. That's close to the river. We have to, do we not have to be concerned
yes,
about
because of the salts.
any chemicals and salts that are used in?
Just don't know how much of a storage it's.
Before we get into it too deep, Mr. Chairman, I was going to question, how are you going to handle the roof leaders and the runoff from the parking lot? Are you going to put in retention ponds or some type of way of handling the storm
Okay.
water management?
What we did, if the stormwater management, if you look at the stormwater management calculations and everything else, we actually took that in and brought the stormwater management into 4 different categories right in here, and what we did is we put it all from the roof drains coming in there, going into a storm scepter, which will be adjacent to Chestnut Street, and that from that storm scepter, we're going into a Caltech system that's going to be underneath the parking lot, and then from that, we got an overflow to a detention area at the extreme
It's on
corner of
page
the
5 and 6.
property.
It's been addressed then.
Please?
You've addressed the,
It's all addressed,
all
yes.
addressed as far as the containment of the water
Completely contained, the water will be contained completely
for
on the
aquifer
site.
recharge.
Right, right. What we did is actually in October, we ran test holes on the property itself, and if you, let's see, if you look on, say, let's see, what sheet it is. If you look on, say, sheet 3 of 6, you'll see that right in there, we got a test hole that's in the site, and a test hole where the disposal area is going to be. The test holes that were put in there. The 2 test holes, actually, what they were is that we didn't do a percolation test per se. What we did is a soil evaluation test, which is consistent with the stormwater management regulations, which figured the classification of the soils themselves. And in that, what we did is we ascertained the fact that the soils in that area basically were Paxton soils, and that the class was in a Group B for the hydraulic area, and that the actual infiltration rate on it was actually 1.02 inches per hour in that area. And the test holes that were done, which were roughly 8 feet deep, did not have any signs of oxidation lines in it that show that the groundwater was in that area. So the installation of the system itself is more than, say, roughly 4 feet above the groundwater or
Yeah,
nothing.
so I think that's a good soil base there, like you say, sand, gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gravelly stuff
Yeah.
through there, you know, and there was no, you know, when we dug the test holes, we looked for constricted areas, there wasn't any.
Yeah.
It's basically consistent all the way
Yeah,
through,
yeah.
so.
Slope of the land, all the water would snow store and run off to the street, and then the closest part of the river would be past that laundromat, or before, which we're waiting on to go there now. So I don't think any runoff or snow store can go on the backside of that lot, it will go down the front, which is like this soil, and then you have, you know, the drinking water system, so.
You're not gonna have any kind of underground tanks or any kind of storage of any kind of pesticides or things like that?
No.
No.
There'll be vehicles like loaders and things like that, you know, okay.
Well, that's a rotation of construction equipment as the year goes around, right? Yeah.
That's basically it, if you.
Yeah, that was my only concern, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, the water and
Handling
sewer.
the water runoff.
They're proposing water and
We've done it with
sewer.
other jobs.
If you look at it on sheet 4, it shows you how it's all laid out, okay?
There is an existing sewer line there too. Right in front of the building, right near the water service line, right near the
Yes.
veterans.
Next snow storage.
Yeah.
What can you do? You got a pile of snow.
There'll be the
I
other
know.
stuff to come and carry from. Like I said, if everything works out to your advantage, it's good. If it doesn't, you'll have to go to the,
That's actually not
I don't want you
That's
to,
not even, thinking about, that's not our concern. We're concerned about, well, actually it is, because it's aquifer protection.
It's in the aquifer protection area, there's no question about that.
Okay. Is there anyone else here with questions or concerns as pertains to this proposal? Did you have a question about this, ma'am?
No.
No? Does anybody else on the board have any questions?
Well, Mr. Jalbert, your firm would oversee the construction
That is correct.
when they do like the site work and the underground containment, things of that
Well,
nature?
what's happening is, see, I have to do more than the site work. The building itself actually is under a controlled project.
Oh,
So with the building inspector, I would be responsible for also the building.
for the building and the site work for
That is
the
correct, yes.
water retention.
Right. Right.
Okay, that's good.
And the building is just gonna be,
Is that wood frame? Must be a big-
there's a building there, so water usage in there is gonna be
Yeah, we didn't even ask, what do you like?
toilets.
Just bathrooms?
Emergency
No,
showers and
apartment.
things like that.
Yeah, so there's no like apartments in the future? Two bathrooms, shower stall or whatever.
What it is all this section here is the five-stall garage.
Yeah.
Does that face?
Hey, it looks like you're making it look
No, it's gonna face south, face
down side,
face down here.
from the
The
outside,
office itself will be
too tight.
For the taxes,
is that you just come around.
sit empty for years and years, nobody does nothing.
That's it.
Not a big one.
Yeah, that lot's been an eyesore for a long time.
No, they're gonna use about
Believe me, I did some digging around there, boy.
Now,
Floor drain, right?
now, the other question is, being that,
Sir, is there a floor drain?
You guys will be doing the digging and everything like that?
In here?
Okay.
No, not
You'll be
in here.
coordinating with us on
but
materials.
if there are
and how
garage
you're gonna-
doors, what about an MDC trap if they're gonna put equipment in the garage?
George, will they still have to come back for permission to connect?
There'll be a connection fee.
But will they need permission, or is
They
this
can do it
gonna
right now if you want, just to button everything up.
make sure?
Yeah.
He's probably gonna install construction equipment.
I'm
sure some building materials.
Maybe you have like
Building
I
materials.
just don't know about time if they have to go all the
But
way.
then with a
in.
commercial
They just
door,
have to
then
give
you're
me-
required to have the
Then they have a year.
MDC trap to contain everything from that garage before it goes into the sewers.
The grading trap outside, you mean?
Well, the tank outside,
Yep.
to separate the oil and the gas.
Water will
We're
separate.
doing
Yeah.
that, we're doing that with the oil separator, which there's right in here, we have an oil separator going right in before anything comes from here into here directly. There's an oil separator right there that goes into this before it does anything else. So we have the stormwater separator right there.
That's
And
just for
this is
parking
the
lots.
garage door
No,
sides,
no,
right?
it's included, this also includes the building itself.
Also,
Yeah.
you will have a floor
So you-
drain, you'll have a floor drain in the garage going into the oil separator.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
6 inch.
Okay.
It's right there. It's
This
included.
is going
Okay, all
around
the
the
way around.
perimeter.
Yeah.
We're completely containing the building going into this area. The oil separator here we can go into.
So you'll have the oil separator for the floor bays, where the
Yeah.
5 bays are.
It's all going around.
Then they'll go into the sewer after. the
Connecting to the
separator.
street gas?
That's the MDC trap, oil separator, MDC trap.
I think there's a step up there too, no, this, my
Because
side.
That I
you know,
can't tell you when the
equipment
gas,
will go
but
in
there's
there.
gas lines running.
Oil's gonna,
You know where the
drip,
gas
grease
is
is
up
gonna
on.
drip.
On,
They're
it's
gonna
up to
wash
gas
it,
company how they want
and
to deal.
You don't want that going into the sewers.
Yeah,
Agreed.
they have good records, we didn't have any records on this way back.
All right, any
Pretty good setup.
further questions?
No, looks good to me.
Okay, if there's no other questions, then we'll close the public hearing at 6:35.
Thank you.
What is,
The connection fees.
Yep.
The connection to go in there, and if everything goes right.
okay. So for the purposes of the Water and Sewer Board, what, we have to approve a special permit to allow building in that area. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I think I'd make a motion to give us a JD&D Construction permission to access town water and sewer, providing they follow the extent of the blueprints for MDC traps, groundwater aquifer, and they follow what's on paper, as it's been presented by Mr. Jalbert.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? George, anything else that needs to be?
Just to accept for the connection to the with the
Sprinkler and water service.
we're gonna water, along with the fact that there is an issue with, that we cannot make that connection, they will have to tap back to the main.
Okay.
Like I said, there's been no records on this, we just happened to find it
They
during
they
the
were
day.
planning on tapping back to the main anyway,
Yeah,
so.
well, like, I don't wanna get, yeah, just in case, it's just
If-
outside.
If we're able to stay on that
Yeah.
side of Oxford Ave,
We'll-
obviously
we'll-
we want to
they'll
do that.
stay with us on whatever they do.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, a little bit of paperwork here, what's today's date? The 8th?
Yeah, you know, trucks, snow plows, they're gonna go inside, they're gonna melt, they're gonna drip.
Builds a lot of houses and stuff.
And here's the signature page, if nobody can,
That's just secure.
When you come in, I'll show you, I'll give you the forms that you need to fill out for that, and show you the price and
Okay.
everything.
Perfect.
now, Jen, what did we need to, in the approval for?
Yeah,
Area?
just, if you want, you want to write it in, or you want me to write it in? It's fine.
Okay.
He'll come by tomorrow anyway, so I'll take care of
Okay.
it. And they'll pay the connection,
Yeah, because the connection fee will be for a 6-inch.
well, they're gonna at least give me the deposit
Deposit on it.
for the year till they decide what's going on.
Yeah, we have to find out
Yeah, because
exactly.
you're not just doing a 3/4-inch water service, then you're paying for that
Yes.
6-inch line.
Is that gonna be, guys, what is preferred going in on the domestic, a 2-inch
Thank you.
in, or 1 inch into the building?
I
kinda-
I don't know why you didn't. I would say one on that.
Oh, that's
At
okay.
the,
I mean, 1 inch
I
is
can
plenty
take
of
it
water
first.
for what you're
For
doing.
one bathroom, if you can't handle it with that 1-inch line, your water's
Well-
pretty bad.
Well, you got a couple good things going, you got good pressure, you got good pressure there. The other issue is if you're washing machinery with large amounts of water, with big water apparatus, sometimes they get big pipes and things like that, then the 1 inch would do you some good. And I figure you wanna wash your equipment once in a while, so I would go with 1 inch, just to kinda,
Biggest better truck.
Well, what is, so that's smaller.
no.
What else is smaller than 2 inches?
This way you can have a couple outside silk locks.
It's right in the happy medium, where 2 inches a little too big, 1 inch should be do you just fine.
I'd say use the one which is the most.
1 inch is better.
okay, so this is all part of that.
You're all set.
Good.
Thank you.
Bye.
15-minute break?
Yep.
And then anytime like after 9, just give me a chance to make sure I get it together.
Perfect. Thank you.
15 minutes for beer.
Okay. where's my
Glasses, boss.
agenda?
Thank you.
You have
Take care,
two
guys. Have a
sets of
good night.
minutes.
Thank you.
One's regular
Okay.
and one's,
Okay. Acceptance of November 6th minutes. Yeah, I looked at the minutes that you sent out, and I'm thinking, well, I forgot about the fact that our December meeting got canceled because of the weather. All right, so we have minutes for November 6th. There's 2 sets. One for the public meeting, and one for the executive session. So we'll act on the public meeting first. What's the...
It's up to you, I wasn't there.
I wasn't there either.
Yeah, it was a short, it was a...
Wasn't much interested, I guess.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from November 6th, 2019, the open session.
Okay, actually,
I
there's...
wasn't here either.
I'll second them for
Oh,
the
because I
sake
looked,
of...
I wasn't there, so
Yeah,
I
just
can't
move
move.
it.
Yeah, we can't, we actually can't...
Right, because
I was gonna
Well,
say, we
because,
really
yeah, the
can't
third
do
person
that.
isn't here, so...
we'll carry it over.
Well, okay, why don't we hold off on approval of both sets of minutes then until next month, because the third person that was in attendance was...
Comments or anything?
No, that's why I said it.
He's not
coming
I
in
said
today?
Jay and I.
Yeah, he's
went
not
crazy.
Gee,
Yeah, I know, kid.
must be nice.
Mailmen get paid well.
I guess so.
Mr. Funny isn't here.
He's on a cruise somewhere much warmer than here.
It's all right.
No, come Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, number 5 is not gonna happen.
Nope.
Calendar year 2020 meeting dates. Has this notice been posted yet?
Yes.
It has, okay. So those are our dates.
Those
They're
are
all,
basically standard anyhow, right?
it all looks like the,
First
it looks like
Wednesday.
every single one of them is the
Yeah.
first.
Do we need to sign this?
No,
Okay.
we just need to post it,
Okay.
but just for your,
It's for our
Oh, that's
information.
fine.
This is when we're meeting. It looks like the first Wednesday all the way through,
Yeah, perfect.
except for January.
April Fool's Day, there you go.
that should be good.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure somebody, oh, never mind. Okay, letter received regarding chlorine levels in the water. We have a copy of,
Was there only one complaint?
do we have a copy of that letter?
Yep,
Yes.
I got it.
it's in there, right there.
That's it?
Yep,
Just the one?
just the one.
Still smells like chlorine. Okay, on Mason Road, that's up in my neighborhood.
Did you, George, did anybody check their meter to see if there was a problem?
Check the meter in that house? No, nothing to do with.
At this defunct,
Set the building plans here for the other ones?
What's that? One of the big ones?
This here?
Did you want that?
this one? No, I don't need that, sir, thank you.
Okay.
You need this?
No, he's got one.
We have,
Just what we need, more clutter. More clutter.
we
More clutter down here.
have a copy of all those plans here, so.
Well, Baz, I guess the resident was contacted with Brian and was explained to our way we conduct with the chlorine in the water, how we meter it and what's required by the state. And after that, I guess it was okay, but they wanted to present it to the board anyway.
Well, I just wondered, because he said the bill keeps going up, I wondered if there was a problem with the meter, that's all.
No, I'm not aware of it as far as the meter, but I could have it checked if that's what,
Yeah.
be the prudent thing to
Well,
do.
Well, it says that, so that's,
Yeah.
I mean, if you go into the records and you look at the water bill, it's gonna tell you, if it's not exorbitant, then it's
right, Brian's pretty good at doing that, he
Fine.
was showing me that on,
Yeah.
my
he showed me that on my bill.
It really, it
I think
hasn't,
it's a normal reading. My only
It's
feeling
not that
is,
much, is it? It's just kind of
we
a,
should just
Just a
send the
little.
people a letter saying we're complying with DEP regulations. Just to be fair, George.
yeah, we
If you
flush
could
it
put-
twice a
if
year,
you-
we just
if you could-
recently.
You and Jen can put a letter together, I make a motion if you and Jen can put a letter together, how you follow DEP regulations. It's beyond our control.
Yeah.
And we're following the law, to the letter of the law. Hydrants are flushed, DEP, you know what to say.
Yep.
And we're covered. And if we want, we can put in they received their little flyer back 3 months ago.
Right,
With
right.
the rate increase.
The,
With the rate increase, correct.
I did,
Be honest and just tell the truth.
I'll second that.
okay, a motion's been made and seconded to send, to draft a letter to send to these folks. And it can be used to send to others as well.
Yeah.
George, when was the last, when did you do flushing right before?
This past October. And I have no problem going out there if it's warm enough to flush the area again, which I probably will do,
Well,
just to give it a little, every time we refresh that area, it's good for a while, but some of the usage there isn't that strong, so everything kind of
Are
settles
you in that
in.
low spot
Well, the other
by
thing is,
Francis Drive?
Yeah.
yeah,
When this is Mason Road.
Make sure she's on the bottom side.
Up beyond Barry Ave, somewhere in that neighborhood.
70,
Oh,
no,
I thought it
70's not
was
that
those.
far up,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
70 is up by, yeah, it's up.
By Barry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. All
I
right,
don't know if you experience it, but when you flush, you take all the organics and stuff that settle out in the pipe out, so it's not chewing up that chlorine as much, so you will get a higher chlorine
Yeah.
smell right after flushing too.
We try to do a light movement of water just to keep it kind of freshen up a little bit. We don't want to go crazy with it because then we end up with a major problem. But just a light, and that seems to help a lot sometimes with some of these problems. But I'll investigate it more and see what we can do to.
I know for the number of years I've been on this board, there were still some facilities that I hadn't seen while I was on shutdown for my full-time employer. I came down and I had George show me some of the things that I hadn't seen. And during that time, we did talk a bit about the chlorine smell, because my very lovely significant other complains quite often about the chlorine smell.
I don't drink the water.
But she, we do. I mean,
Actually, I should say that.
And I
have
do
a
notice.
filter.
I do notice it from time to time. For drinking water, we filter it anyways, so it doesn't
Well,
matter.
I have one of those filters, you fill it up and then it
But
does a
time
pretty
to
good
time,
job.
taking a shower, you can smell that. You have to chlorinate enough to get all the way out, and it just
That was one of the other things.
exploring the possibility of it chlorinating the system from a different point.
Well, I know me and Brian had talked about it a couple times, about putting in a chlorine booster to go up to the tank.
That's gonna be in the works right now.
Right, so there's discussion on that, and if that goes through, that will,
That
you'll
will
be able to
It'll
drop
lower
the
down.
levels
bring down the
down.
levels down
Yeah.
here on the low
Right,
end of
right,
town.
Because you
Yeah,
gotta,
'cause you're trying to
unfortunately, you're trying to
push
get that
it.
residual all the way
Trying
up
to-
there.
That's,
Trying to get the chlorine level
that's
all
on
the way
board
up.
with our rehab projects coming up.
That's a good
That's
idea.
So just,
Oh, that's
so
fine.
people
So-
understand when we gotta
Backfill.
spend money to do some of these things, it's to try to alleviate some of these
the
issues.
road.
It is on our radar, and we notice it as well, so,
I can always send them to the city of Lynn and see what the chlorine really is like.
Oh, yeah, just,
I worked there, George, I don't think you wanna do that.
I know, I used to live in that area, I know, oh boy, that was not.
so anyways, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Right?
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay. I guess before we don't have anything in the agenda for public comments, but frankly, we don't get that many, but do you have a concern with the Water Sewer Board that you want to bring up, or are you just here to
I
listen?
guess I'm here because I received a notice, so I thought if it was important enough to send me a notice, then I should be here. So that's why I'm here.
Oh, that was for the public hearing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you're in a butter over
Yeah, the
there.
abutters have to
Oh.
be notified.
Yep.
Oh,
Just,
okay.
just 3 lots away, so I thought I really should know what's happening.
Okay,
Yep.
just want to be sure, I don't want to hold
But
you
if
here
you
if you
don't
don't need to
mind
be.
my eavesdropping on
Oh,
the...
go ahead.
This is a
Oh,
public
That's
meeting.
fine. It's
You know, if the room were full of people, it would
You
be
can
better.
grade
It'd
us
be nice
afterwards.
if people came, yeah.
Okay. I just don't want you to sit here waiting to say something if you didn't want to be. Okay, Water Department ordering procedures and capability. I know this came up during that day.
Yeah, we had an issue come up, our utility truck, our box truck, our mainline work truck, came down with a significant problem with the inverter. We ended, and I'll go over it more in detail, but we had an issue where they were able to get this part that's pretty expensive online, and I'm not a big person online, but the exact part we needed, and to put it through the ordering process has to go through the town for some reason. We can't seem to do it on our own, and we'd like to change that because I can't wait 2 weeks for a part because it was never submitted, and now we're backlogged a week when we would have had it already. Because if I get another main break, I'm in the dark when I'm doing this, and it's very dangerous for my guys because that inverter does a lot of loose stress for lighting and stuff. So I wonder if there's a way we can organize something to go through our own, have our own credit card or however online you do that to get stuff, because we're doing that more and more, saving us a lot of money to do it from other sources than just go to vendors and get it.
I know that particular day, we were down in the Station 1, and I asked, well, what's this? And that's where I got the explanation. Basically, found it on Amazon for cheaper, or somewhere else, somewhere online, for a lot cheaper than the local supply house. And it was available and in stock, but the purchasing,
You
the
would-
purchasing
in order to
process
do
had,
that, you'd have to have some type
you
of
have to
PayPal
wait to pay for it, and the company.
with the money in it ahead of time.
The department credit card, the town credit card, for some reason, they asked the treasurer's office? Treasurer's office to purchase this, to order this thing, and for whatever reason, it's been delayed.
Well, it sounds to me like it was something that needed to get done immediately.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
And I guess we need to explore, is there a way, are we allowed to do?
Well, like I say,
Something that way.
can't we establish some kind of an account and put $10,000 in it? And that account would be able to be accessed by George or you, the secretary, so they could purchase something online.
We'd have to check and find out through procurement laws.
Town bylaws.
Town procurement bylaws. See.
Yeah, I think if you had $10,000 in it, that'd be more
Yeah,
than
but we
enough.
always have money in our operating budget. I don't see why you just can't draft a check out of your operating budget.
That's what I was
Well, you-
hoping that we could do
Well-
something. I don't know how that,
Amazon will like,
Some of the
Well-
Oh, yeah,
sites,
yeah, they don't want to check.
and some of the sites require a credit card.
right, they would.
That's what I mean, you'd need like a
So-
PayPal account, right?
So to sum that up, the town has a credit card that's kept where?
Treasurer's office.
Treasurer's office.
So
And if you
for us,
wanna-
in an emergency, we have to get into the treasurer's office to meet with him to get the
Yes,
card?
well, yes, if you want to order, if you need to order something online and need the access of the credit card, you have to send the item to the treasurer through email and have an account made with an item in the cart, and then he will process it for you. You are not allowed to.
That's fine if you're buying papers and pencils and stuff, all right? But we're talking about a pump, something that we need to keep the system working, so.
And, you
We
know,
need
if
to get
If
our
we can
own.
save money by purchasing online, it's
And I don't purchase anything unless you
yeah.
they tell
Would
me
it
to.
be
And then a
feasible?
voucher would be created to go through the system too.
Right, would it be
Exactly.
feasible for the water and sewer department to have its own credit card?
We have to find out if we're allowed to.
It's gonna be a town credit card, it's just they need to give authorization for you to use it.
Without having to.
It's kind of like a check and balance,
Yeah.
right?
that's what I
Well,
mean.
you could have someone go rogue
We're
with
not
a
a-
credit card.
Hey, can I put in my 2 cents
Yeah.
on this?
Sure. Now
Michelle
that-
has got an Amazon card,
Yep.
buys everything tax-free. Now, I ordered a $2,000 switcher. I had it in the mail next day.
I have no issue when we order through Amazon,
Yeah.
through Michelle. I print off what we want, she does it. and
Anywhere
it's-
else, you got a problem, but
Yeah.
Amazon, just
Yeah.
go through
I just
Michelle.
used Amazon as an
Bing.
example, but
I will say, because
if you're able to get it from a supplier online,
Well, what's the difference between what Michelle's credit card is versus
Michelle
what the
doesn't have a
town's?
credit card.
Yeah,
Michelle has an
Amazon is
account
an
with
account.
Amazon. So it's the town Amazon account, so we go through, she handles that, the treasurer holds the credit card.
Okay.
It used to be, prior to years ago, when I first started, is if you needed something, you would go down, you could get the credit card from the treasurer and use it, and then give them a copy
That makes
of.
more sense than what they're doing, what you just said.
I'm sure there was a mishap somewhere along the line.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
that's what
know.
we're trying to prevent.
okay,
Right?
and the treasurer is usually here on Thursday nights, right?
Yes.
If you could just jot down a couple of bullet points, I'll come by, if it's okay with the board, I'll come by tomorrow night after work and
See what the answer is.
see if we can,
hash it
see if
out
we
with
can
them,
hash
sure.
this thing out and figure out a way to make this happen. Because, I mean, there are times when things we have to purchase are quite expensive, and if you can get it from a low overhead
Vendor versus.
vendor,
Yeah.
then it would be a lot easier to do that.
George, the part should be here tomorrow.
oh, great.
According to
okay.
tracking, it should be delivered
All
tomorrow.
right, thank you.
Cool.
Get
Okay,
to tonight, I'll be okay.
all right, so we'll see, we take care of that tomorrow night then? Is that okay with?
Yeah,
everyone
that's
else?
fine.
Awesome.
Investigate it, sure.
That's all.
Okay,
But we can see you don't want fraud, you don't want to be involved.
No,
in
absolutely.
Fraud or theft. or-
an open credit card,
Well, you can't have just
You see that
sign
stuff in the
things
news.
because
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
don't sign their name properly.
Right.
Where I work, they do.
See that in the news when somebody's off on a vacation and you find out that,
2,500.
Yeah.
And out of all of them, they said I was the only one that could read my name.
Could read it, yeah.
Because I
Legible.
wrote my name on it.
The rest nobody could figure out.
Right, because
Yeah.
people do stuff like that, you don't have that.
okay, water sewer reports?
Yeah, well, Happy New Year to the board. Start off with sewer.
Oh, that's,
Most of you probably read most of this. I'll try to just highlight a couple things I want to get across. This Eisenhower Drive issue is right now in the hands of the planning board. The plan is, right now, is to utilize the bond money for the sewer pump station upgrades needed for acceptance. The secondary plan right now is, I guess there's going to be a meeting now, that I just found out tonight, between Mr. Haney, myself, the planning board, and Mr. Kraychek to iron what is going to be done with this pump station, what needs to be done, and the cost mostly involved with it. At this point, we have a couple choices, which I've talked to the town treasurer about. Absolutely, we'll take the money to do what we have to do, but there'll still be and I know the board was gracious to offer some money from the sewer accounts to finish this project, because it is a necessity to do. I can't let this thing go and stay the way it is. We did a slight visit at it, and the issue became that the pumps were beginning to knock around because there's no railing system to hold them in place. Mike was concerned about the piping beginning to crack. We were ready to go ahead on an emergency to do it, and then the town attorney stepped in, told us not to. Okay, his reasoning was because the town doesn't officially own the land there, the whole subdivision, because it's not been accepted. I got on the phone with him, I told him that, I says, first of all, we have easement rights to that in an emergency. It's part of our infrastructure. If something goes there, the sewer department has to respond to it, and they have to make the proper corrections to it, and then we'll hash it out later. And he says, okay. He says, but right now, the plan is to talk to Mr. Haney. If we get nowhere with him, then he won't put up the rest of the money to do this project, or all of it, or whatever, so that we're not forced to give out any money. We'll take the bond money, do the repairs, put the rest of it ourselves into it, and go after him in court through the town attorneys, which the town administrator wants to do too. So we'll go after the money that way. This has been going on a long time, since 2008. Enough is enough. I'm not going to sit there and try to answer the calls of these people and not be able to effectively service them right with all these restrictions. We need to get it accepted, and that's what we're planning on doing once we get this all ironed out. So it's in the works right now, pretty strongly. So the estimated cost is around $20,000 plus or minus, depending on when we get into the actual work. That's some pumps, rails. We'll be doing the final riser kit ourselves with the grading and all that stuff ourselves to conform it to the land. He stated that, and like I said before, he stated that he did everything right, blah, 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 but the fact of the matter is, at the end of the subdivision, when he was doing the final stages, he lowered that and raised the street side up and caused that gully to form, and everything was off from there. So there's documentation in the selectman's office, the town administrator's office regarding this whole issue, that it was never accepted from 2008, but they allowed him to tie the houses in because originally it was accepted. It was allowed to. Everything was right on track till the final finish off time, and then it was changed. So the former superintendent denied the acceptance, just for a little background on that. So that's where we are right now. Any questions on that? Because it's kind of...
I don't know if I would do any of the finished grade work or any of that stuff. I mean, I would do mechanical things to make sure it runs.
I need to put the riser on to make the grade around it. I just have to do the area around the sewer thing, which I have the right to do. I did talk to Mr. Haney. He did call me.
Get the truck in.
Yeah, just because we need to get accessibility with the crane truck. I did talk to Mr. Haney. He says, you do whatever you want. I mean, but I told him, I says, listen, I says, we have to do this the proper way, but I says, you know, it'd be right of you to just give the money, the rest of this money or whatever, to finish this project and be done with it and get it off your case. It's gonna come back and haunt you again anyway. We're not letting this go.
There was no bond on that? Do whatever you want, you're on your own, huh?
Kind of do it, well, yeah, well, he said he had no problem with the emergency. I says, there's been some discussion about emergency, about access to your property there, because it's still your property.
Well, he's saying do whatever you want because he figures.
Yeah.
He doesn't
if
think
The
it
more
was
we do, the
anyway.
better it is anyway for him to, you know.
But that's the problem. He can say do whatever you want, but
Yeah.
unless you get it in writing that you're allowed.
Yeah, well, I asked for that too, but the other thing is I do have the right in emergency to do work in this. We haven't touched it except a small inspection, just to get an idea of what we're up against. So that's how that stands right now. If you look at your packets, I've got 3 bids for a generator on Lakeview Ave pump station, sewer pump station. Our best and lowest came in at, let me get it, Power Products. The other was Generac and 2 Generacs or whatever. That didn't, those 2 didn't even fit our bill with a steel cover. We wanted the aluminum covers. They also come in with a nice transfer switch and the 5-year warranty on it. The ordering, if it could be approved by the board tonight would be good, because it's going to take at least a month to 2 months for this unit to come in. Part of the deal with that too is we're gonna go pick it up ourselves and bring it out here. We don't incur any shipping charges or trucking.
Where is that?
Wakefield. Wakefield, Mass.
Oh, Wakefield?
Yeah, Power Products on 128. Yeah, right by Red.
Well, I drove through there a few times.
Yeah. It's actually right to the car dealerships here, Durant car dealership, Chevy's right there. It's all part, they fix trucks and things like that too.
That's the auto mile.
Yeah, no, the
16,000,
Norwood's the auto mile, the Route 1's the auto mile down south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's up North Shore.
So the price is $16,750,
Yep,
and that's everything?
yep,
At the gate, picking it up?
yep, we pick it up at the gate. Then we get, then as far as tying in electrically and making a pad.
I'm
that-
just
that-
looking, he's offering freight of unit direct to
So I was about
job
to say,
site.
you sure you're gonna pick it up?
No,
Why
that
are
was
you
from
gonna
the
go
old
get
quote.
it? Huh?
That quote was an old quote that was changed for the agreeable price of that price. He's using the old template, if you know what I'm saying. That was incorporated in the higher cost price for that shipping. Because he took that old
Right, but
breakdown.
you're still getting the same warranty?
Yes, absolutely. Everything else is the same. Just the price has
And they're
changed.
gonna test it?
I assume they do that when, I
Well,
mean, there's a
it
5-year one, they're
says-
gonna, if it breaks or something happens, they're gonna come out and fix it.
Start up.
Right, but I mean,
Well,
the
you gotta do it.
startup and full load bank testing, that's when you first introduce it to the grid.
Yeah.
They're
They-
gonna do that?
I assume they take care of that before it
Well,
gets
don't
shipped out.
assume.
That would.
Yeah,
well,
you gotta ask the guy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if something's not right or not working right, they're
Yeah,
gonna
but
take
you
care
want
of it
that
anyway.
to.
We don't
run
wanna
the pumps,
pay LaFleur $500 to come down and start it up.
Yeah, no.
you know, under a load. it'd
I'm
be
sure they
running the
fill
pumps,
test it on the road, but.
Right,
You know, with the power off.
Don't
You want the
assume.
switch to work, the pumps to run.
right. Well, that's what it is, full load bank testing.
What's the date on this? Is
One NEC remote e-stop, is that a part?
Emergency stop.
In regards to how long
Yeah.
it's valid.
Oh, okay, that's a,
As an emergency stop.
okay. I'm
We
just looking to
currently-
see if there's anything in
We
here.
use Kohler in all our stations too, so it conforms with what we have.
This is 2.5 months old already, George, this quote.
Yeah.
What was his duration of honoring the quote?
Today, he honored it today.
The meeting?
I had a conversation with him today, because he was on vacation for a little while, and I had a conversation about bringing the price to where we need to be, and he had no problem with that. But he says, you pick it up, I'll honor the price down and to where you need to be, because everything had what we wanted, and the
Okay.
5-year warranty was only with the Kohler.
Says it right here, startup and 4-load bank testing by Power Products Technician.
Yeah, but-
Well, that's
That's in
why
the-
I
that's in the
asked,
quote.
because it
Rates
says
in
freight a
the
unit direct to job
Okay,
site above
so,
the,
so I think what they're doing, because, well, I'm assuming what, again,
Don't assume.
don't assume, but from.
There you go with the
from
advice.
what he's saying is, this guy said he'd honor this price if we picked the thing up,
right.
which eliminates the freight charge and that,
Well, regardless, this is what we're signing to
right.
approve and.
Yes, this one here, this one.
It's in writing that they gotta stick to whatever we signed and
Yeah,
approved.
this one here, right here with the 16th, so that's the one.
So everything here is right, except for the freight to the
Yeah.
job
Correct,
site.
correct.
Well, the next question is, do we have gas on the site now?
Yes, there's gas right next to that station that comes
Yeah,
in.
on the street.
But
Tie right into
do we
it.
have a service?
No,
No.
no stop. We'll have, this gas company will have to.
Has there been any contact with National Grid in regards to a date to get service?
I have a contact name because I'm also working on other avenues of energy,
That's
so
gonna
I'm gonna
have to
talk
be
to him. And
Implemented ASAP, because they can drag.
They take forever.
They can drag.
I don't know if they're gonna let us do the digging and go into it with a service tech, with one of their guys there, or they have to do it, that I have to get question.
They're not
answers.
gonna let you dig the gas
No,
line.
Probably not.
Because they're gonna have to come into a meter bar, high pressure,
Yeah.
then reduce with the pressure regulator and have an exterior meter. Yeah, I think you better,
I'd get the ball rolling on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
pronto.
I will, like I said, once I got approval of this, then I'm gonna call the guy, schedule something to make sure he's aware of it.
Because we'd be a commercial customer. Well, we're already a customer anyhow.
The other thing is, and I don't have that yet, I do have a spec on one. I'm still in talks with Mr. Haynes out for the Lions Road Truman Ave project. He may be willing to donate some money towards a generator for the Lions Road station. We've been discussing somewhere around the $7,500 to $10,000 mark. Nothing's definite yet, but he has said he'd be willing to do that. And that would really be a nice big thing, a good thing to have over there with that working station. That would be diesel tank, not gas, so, because there's no gas in it. And that would, we'd have to make kind of a pad just behind the cabinetry there, put that generator in place.
Okay.
So that's still in the works right now.
Do you own the land? Do you
Yeah,
own
right
the land?
around abutting that station, and we'd be right up against the station there. We should be good right there.
Before we go too far, much farther, we need to accept this bid.
Yes.
And then from what I looked at, it is the lowest bid as well.
Yeah.
16,750, one of them was 18,480.
Correct.
And looks like the other two bids are for the same generator.
Yes.
And
With
16,796 and 18,480, so that is the lowest bidder.
Yeah. And we get the 5-year warranty where the other ones come with a 2-year warranty. And still cabinetries versus.
Hey, George, do you have any contracts now for generator service?
We had Power Products at one time come out to service ours, nothing on a contract, just on a routine maintenance thing, or we had an issue with it. I don't remember what it was. It was way back when I first started.
I'm just thinking like a company like Bigelow Electric that do generator service, yearly service. and-
Anything electrical.
Power Products does them.
The Power Products has a
Power Up
a guy that
does
goes out and
They have
does.
people too.
There's like 5 or 6 of them around that do
Yeah.
them.
They're pretty big.
It might be worth looking into what,
That might be worth.
because we're getting more and more of these generators.
I can
How
actually
many
talk to
generators do you have?
We have two ones in our stations right now that are the same basic generator. Station 3, Station 6, Station 1.
And you got the portable ones at the sewer department that they pull.
Yeah, they got those are the older ones. They're not. I can't remember if that's a Kohler. Yeah, they do have a Kohler in there. On there.
Something to think about then.
Just big toe behind them?
Yeah, the Toby other ones 3. Because they have to meet certain ones do certain phases. They've done better in making them universal. But it's still, you
Pick which one.
yeah, you gotta go take one, then grab another one, and I'm trying to get away from all that on some of these mainline stations that really work hard, so they can just turn it on and then.
What voltages do you have?
Timmy could tell you mostly on that
I'm
one.
guessing most of them are 480.
I would think somewhere in that vicinity, like I said, Timmy knows a lot about those. He changed a few things on them, he's like an electrician too, but made them more adaptable.
It's really a minimal expense for the, to get a contract to have them come in twice a year. They do a minor and a major.
Yeah, I could talk to Charlie about that, let him see what he has, what they're, give me some prices or
Get
something.
some prices on
Yeah,
service
yeah.
contracts.
Yeah,
You know,
Okay, so what's your pleasure as far as the
$1,500 around.
generator is concerned?
Well, I know we've been talking about this for years, getting generator back up down there, because that's a job where they have to take the truck and pull it down there, then go to the next one, then come back, so. it
We
has
have the
to be
money
done.
allotted for it.
So I'll make a motion that we go ahead with Power Products Systems for a price of $16,750 for the Kohler generator and the related switch and relays, et cetera, that are required to do this job, and have the chairman sign it, and then from there it can go to probably the town administrator for confirmation.
Second.
Okay, so there's been a motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
George has to act immediately on the gas service.
Right.
And this,
Yeah.
just to notify them for one month.
Okay, so, all right, all in favor?
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
one other question, like,
Okay, sure.
Fred mentioned, as far as Power Products, that's not in stock, right?
No. They
So
have to-
if you take delivery of that in a month or two, obviously you're gonna pick it up with the dump truck and load it, offload it with the backhoe boom. Do you have enough storage facility at one of the garages
Yes.
for that till we're ready?
I can throw it right in the back side of the garage if I have to. Yep. It'll also help us when we can look at it and see how we're gonna pipe it in and
Yeah.
set the platform
Yep.
for the.
Yep. Did we vote, Scott?
Yeah,
Did we vote?
yeah,
All in favor, unanimous?
yeah, you just,
You can use the bottom of the box, George, for the template. It's gonna come on a pallet. Be all set for you.
Give yourself
Okay.
a little leeway.
Anything further on the reports?
Yeah, well, that's the sewer. You guys, if there's any questions on the sewer end of things right now, I'll go on to the water side. The other thing was the 124,000 is for borrowing. That's pretty, Rich has got that pretty well nailed down right now, so
Okay.
we're all set with that. And and the other one has already been dealing with now. I filled another report for that other lender on the water side. On the water report, we had a main break at 88 Center Road. This is at the bottom of Nichols College. This is, if you go down past Healy Road heading towards the bottom of Center Road, down where it meets West Main Street. After you pass the Remillard Hall and the Kuppenheimer Hall, all the buildings, somewhere down past that hydrant, or now I'm beginning to suspect further up, maybe before the hydrant, there's it goes from a 10-inch cast to a 6-inch transite. Well, the 6-inch transite buckled at the collar, just below the hydrant, probably about 300 feet, close to the end. Unfortunately, there was a gate just down the street from that, which would have been great, but it didn't work that way. There's no line gates from Healy Road down. You have to shut it at Healy Road at the intersection, which means half the campus is shut down, because that covers all the athletic area and all that.
Yeah.
So when it happened, of course, on a rainy night, and everything was just chaotic, but I was pretty pleased with the way the water and sewer guys, they all did a fantastic job. They got it done and repaired in 3 hours, which was pretty unheard of, but we were able to pin it down where it was, take care of it. I notified Bob Levine up at the college, who made the preparations up there to notify all their people what was happening. So we got them water pretty darn quick, and there was no side effects as far as air or problems or dirtiness or anything like that. So that was a good thing there. The well at Station 3 is ongoing now. They're doing, yeah. Scott had seen some of the operations right there. They're already, we're getting ready to have a meeting tomorrow, a big meeting with the Ty and Bond, Sullivan, Geoscience, Jay from Geoscience, to pin down finally the way we're going to pipe this thing in, into the height of the bitless, how we're going to conform into it. I'm giving the Ty and Bond, I'm giving a little resistance on the way they want to activate the Floodplain Balancing Act as far as taking and giving, because it is a floodplain. And I'm pretty much going to hold my ground about taking a corner side to move that corner side into the area where the well is to be. She's thinking of taking it on the opposite side, out by the hydrant, and doing a balancing act one another, and I'm not for that at all. So we'll be having a little bit of an issue with that, but hopefully we'll come to an understanding on that. So that's tomorrow. Our bacteria samples have been great. No problems there for the last couple of months, and I'm happy to say for right now on the PFAS preliminary, that came back with just 4 of the compounds at 9 parts per trillion, which was versus 20 parts per trillion, which is which is a proposed MCL from DEP. Not confirmed, but that's what they're using as a baseline right now. The next test will be the well itself when it's online and is tested, and hopefully we can be okay with that. That alleviates a lot of issues. I won't get into it a lot right now. The box truck is the next issue. Like I said, on that 88 Center Road, we did that with pretty much no lighting because the inverter had failed, along with the wiring all melted, because the truck was built with the old style lights, and finally they said enough is enough. I patched it enough times. I sent it out to MHQ. They did a rope, LED rope lighting job for the lower parts of the cabinet, refused everything the way it should be, like they had it. Maybe down the line I'll do the top part. I just enough now where I just had enough to get the truck by. We're waiting on the inverter part for the other thing. So hopefully we'll be all set with that soon. I know you guys have been looking at GIS mapping system right now and working with Bob a little bit on that. Brian has been good with that, trying to get things situated with that. That's progressing slowly, but we're working on that. Along with, we're setting up the booster station that will move into the SCADA, since we had issues with that not too long ago. That went down because the analog failed on the Verizon line that went out there. That was a couple days of problems. So Donnie's ordered the stuff, and now that our SCADA's in place, we can adapt right into that and get that online. Along with this mission system thing, and I'm not big on this stuff, but our SCADA system can presently adapt for mission, if that's a brand name or whatever, to go on the phones and look at that kind of thing. That's being set up and worked on too. Like I said, we're working on it in slow steps here. And we did order 432 complete meter kits at a cost savings of $13,000 because we took it in bulk. And we found out that a lot of these older meters end up slowing down a little bit because meters will just slow down a little bit. And when you get into that phase, you start losing some significant revenue. So as we're doing our new radio read systems, we're doing everything, meter base and radio read system. And I'm going to commend Ryan and Jen, the way they've been watching and monitoring situations in with stop meters, averaging, things like that, which have been going on for a long time. We're looking and pinning that down at what's going on with those meters and various customers. So we're saving, we're getting some money back on savings on that, things like that. The Modine heater in Station 1 failed. The exchanger finally blew apart. They just recently did some work on it, and apparently it wasn't enough. And I'm holding off on that by using some small space heaters right now. Thank God it hasn't been too cold to get by this year, because we're going into the station rehab come next year anyway. So that's all going to be gutted out and redone. So we're going to just let that, try to get through that. And Chief Kochanowski has graciously donated us a forestry pump skid plate with booster reel, booster pump, and water tank, a 250-gallon water tank that can be put on any pickup truck or their utility truck. We have it on a skid plate right now. And that's going to save us from taking that jetter out to do various just washdowns. We'll just use it with the, and that has a adaptation for a hose. We can go run right to a hydrant to do it, and then use that system there. And we can use it in the water department if washing a street or whatever we have to do. So that was gracious of him to do that. That's a nice little unit there.
It is a very good unit.
And the other thing was, I just put a side note here that I remembered. I just thought that the title changes, descriptions for the jobs, Bob's reviewing it for me to make sure all my wording is correct in that, so that when I submit it, it's going to submit to the town treasurer, then to the union rep, to put everybody's title descriptions in the proper format, the way it should be, and all the other issues everything should be done at one time, hopefully. That's the report.
Can we send a letter to the chief saying thank you?
Yeah.
Yep.
You have one more thing.
Well, tell me I don't.
Sign. The signs.
Oh, geez, thank you.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll make sure, thank you.
It's pretty soon when you guys go by Station 1, you're going to see, and Jen, help me, where did I put the signs?
There, it should be there.
Oh, here it is,
Yeah.
okay.
I think we need to contact Fred Pryor and see if we can get him into an organizational skills seminar.
I just have a copy of what we already have here. We have in place a new sign for Station 1. I'm not doing any more of this painting signs and putting dogs and hydrants, and I mean, as far as the funny comics. It's time that we get something a little bit more formal and looking good and can last now for quite a long time. We're replacing these every 2 years or so, and they're becoming ready.
No hunting on it?
No, it didn't go that far. There's going to be two big signs, or we're going to check on Station 6's sign to see how big it is actually, because 6 is not really, sticks out in the crowd. That's back.
4 by 8?
Yeah, this one here is a 48 by 48 by 25 inch sign for Station 6. The one at Station 1 is going to be the big one. And they're all going to be together, the same design, the same colors, the same. And they're durable, and they can handle the heat, and
Where are you getting those from?
the graphics, there's a graphics.
All right.
Correct.
Keep it local.
Yep.
So you have 2 or 3?
We ordered one for Station 1 that's in-house right now, and one for Station 6 is in-house
So
right
you're
now.
waiting on 3?
I'm waiting on to see what Station 6's look like. I was going to do it to Station 3, but I'm holding off because it's on Schofield Ave, and everybody can see it. So I may go with the big sign for Station 3, same as
Yeah.
Station 1.
Do you think we should have a camera down there on New Boston Road? There's a lot of people that go in there.
Yeah, I noticed. I'm almost thinking of putting up a gate, a chain.
Well, I
type.
have a registration and stuff I wanted to give to you. I forgot about it. It's in my truck.
Yeah, I've already
I'll
caught
give it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
The guy was in there the other night in his car.
The police, I've contacted the police 3 times because of the hunting season. They've caught people in there.
I talked to,
And I remember talking to you about it, so yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at sometime in the summer, maybe putting up a chain type setup to keep it, you know.
Just something to get you in and out quick to keep everybody else.
Yeah.
Swinging gate,
Something. Yeah, that's a good idea.
just a swinging gate.
Even a
that you can
swinging gate
unlock,
with a pin in it.
with a pin in it and a lock.
Because they'll have to get out to unpin it, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that might just work without a lock.
That locks are cheap.
Even if we had a lock on it,
Yeah.
key it all the trucks.
And we'll buy one no hunting sign.
Those are,
I mean, we got too much at stake. Even, I tell you, I drive by Station 3 in the last 2 months, that gate's open all the time.
Yeah, well, that freezes up sometimes and we can't move it.
Okay.
So we leave it open now, we got chemical deliveries in, plowing, things like that. I don't wanna get caught where we're trying to unjam the gate or whatever. We secure
Yeah,
it back
fix that.
in a good season.
Like I
The
said,
gate lowers back down when the frost level.
We got a lot at
I
stake
know it's
with
been
those
warm, but,
buildings.
huh?
You know, got a lot at stake with those buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't afford any vandalism.
Those buildings are federally protected, all of them, booster station, tanks, anything on the water site is federally protected. So if somebody asks about hunting or trespassing, no.
so, but
Nobody's allowed
the
to.
thing is, it's only federally protected if you can catch the people,
Yeah.
catch anybody doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Or is the word that people like to use, nefarious.
And the tank in Blackstone was federally protected too.
Yeah, well, that, it was christened pretty
It
good.
might
I
be,
guess.
it might be something to look into, when you get some spare time. Look into what it might cost for some PTZ cameras that, they may feed into this
Skater.
SCADA system. They're
You could put a
built.
simple blink system with 2 cameras on the property and go to the phones.
I think when we get into the rehab stuff, I think let's see if we have money about
There
that
is a
and
lot
do
of
that.
activity
They
though
all
down
got-
on the
Really?
Boston.
Really?
Honest to God.
In there, is that
All
right?
the time.
Yeah.
There's people in there.
Oh, yeah, there's swings set up on one of the trees
There's a
outside
swing
of
there,
the.
yeah, I know, the neighbors.
Kids
That's
play
across the
dogs.
streets, people.
Kids
The
go in
neighbors
there
across
play.
the street feed all the ducks
think
in
it's
there
a
in the
town
stream
park, huh?
and whatever. But there's automobile activity in there at
Really?
night.
Yeah, we want to gate
We're gonna
that.
get a gate there
It's a
then.
good place to hide,
Yeah,
you know, because the cars are coming into New Boston, they're going fast.
yeah.
Check
And
with
people
highway.
coming
check
out on
with,
looking into the swamp.
Grand
season,
Trust,
you
know?
Highway
Yeah, it's a good hiding
and,
spot.
and all of those to see what they
Obviously
use
keep it
for
off
gates.
the
Just
break
a
house.
Yeah.
just a big bar pit.
You steel
the
pipes,
pole
all the
piece
chain
that
on
can
each
slide,
end,
slide,
like a clevis
which might
on
be
the
something
other
we
end.
could
Actually, I
do.
want the highway department.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the highway
One of the-
department could.
They might be able to
actually, they could
make one up
one
for
of
us
their
at
old
cheap
rails,
cost, because they have the equipment to
Right,
do
cut it
that.
in half, drive it in on each side,
So work
blow a
with
couple
highway
holes and
or.
it's done.
if
I like
not-
the highway one they have, the way you just swing in,
The swing
out,
gate.
swing gate.
Yeah,
it's
but
just a swing gate.
they made 2. That was kind of,
No, that's what I mean, just
Yeah.
one they could make, because they have the equipment to
Just
make
to
one,
go
they
one
can
with
make
the
one for
bar
us,
to go to.
just to go, we
Right.
can put it in. That's all
but
we
I
really
mean, you
need.
don't want to make 2.
No,
Like they
no,
did, that
no.
was, you
Single
know,
gate.
The driveway's
No,
not
because
that
you're
wide.
chasing one when it starts moving on you, and you're
That's
trying to
what
run
I
back to the other.
then they don't line up after a while, you
Yep.
know.
I'm gonna check with Nichols College to see if they have something that we can use up there, because they always have extra stuff that they, Justin Bill is really good with that. So I'll ask them.
Okay, yeah, well, any other business? Jen, anything
No.
from the office side of things?
No?
Tell you, I came in to sign bills one day. I told her this already. I went in there during the shutdown. I was out of work for a week and a half, so I was kind of going stir crazy. So I came in to sign bills. It didn't take only a couple minutes because she was on vacation. Then I looked around and said, well, you know what, maybe I'll read something and see if I can catch up on something. I looked around and there was nothing out. I mean, that office is spotless. It's just all the old papers and things that were on the, nothing.
I hate to tell you, but she refuses to do any paperwork whatsoever.
There's nothing, there was nothing out to read. I saw a couple of bills that are being looked into for, a whole lot of minimums and then all of a sudden, water use. So, I mean, I saw that and looked into, there was nothing, so I had to go off and find something else, some other way to keep out of trouble.
Scott, I just want to thank the sewer department for the help they give us, which is immense. A
Well,
lot.
that's all part of your department.
Yes, it is, but like I said, I mean, they don't have to do that right now as far as getting into the holes and being around chemically, and they go ahead and make that extra mile to do that, and it's a great help. This is how we get things done in a pretty good amount of time, so.
Sure, and,
you know,
with the reclassification and everything,
Yeah,
that'll be
Yep.
common practice. it's good to know that there will be very little resistance to that, or potentially very little resistance to that. Okay, seeing no other business before the board, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you.